Today we wanted to answer a question: what exactly do you need to know before buying a house in the flood zone area?
But first, let's hit it! Hi, this is Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel.
And if this is your first time in our channel and you wanted to know everything about Greenville, North Carolina, please subscribe to our channel. Also, hit that ring. Get notified when we put a new video for you.
Honestly, we get calls, texts, and emails all the time for people looking to move, relocate, shift, upsize, downsize. Here in the Greenville surrounding area, and we love helping people. That is what we do. I am a big believer in helping people find a home, and that's what I consider myself, like a matchmaker, helping you match to the home that you want. So,
without any further ado, let's hit the list. Therefore, imagine that your dream house is in an area that is near the flood zone.
Right, and honestly, since we both lived in Florida a long time, we have a Florida example. Florida's just flood zone all way, so it's zero all the time. So we are well used to flood zones, but not everybody in North Carolina, when they hear the word flood zone, I have seen people run out the room. So I just want to kind of point out, we're going to do this video on what is and why you can think about it and something, things to consider.
Therefore, as my wife said, either you be super close like Florida to the coastal and all the fun part with the ocean, or you're living in the Greenville, Winterville, or surrounding like Aden, that is still you have the vicinity to the water, and some of the area have the potential for the flood.
Right. No? I mean, here in our area, we're not typically talking about the high risk, and I mean there are some spots, but we are talking about flood insurance and flood risk. So this is really what this video is about. And it is nice to be by water. It's peaceful, it's calming, but it comes with a cost. And that's what this is.
Therefore, that doesn't mean that you basically ignore your dream and you don't want it to buy, because it might be a house that you fell in love. But what is important, actually, when they say that is in the flood zone, you should say what was the insurance cost is. A good understanding what you're going through means the risk-wise and how you can mitigate them.
But first, let's talk about what is a flood zone and how do we kind of know. So how do we know?
Therefore, the flood zone, that basically is according to a federal agency, which is FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. They basically use the code and zone for the different. For example, we have 3 categories. What they are?
High risk, moderate risk, and minimal risk.
Therefore, for high risk, they code them the zone started with letter A or the V. What about the moderate?
Moderate is B or X shaded, which means once in every 500 years.
And the number 3, which is the minimal, is zoned by letter C or X unshaded.
Unshaded. So those are our kind of where we're talking about high, medium, and low. Or we're in minimum, moderate, and high. So that is what we're talking about. So, and this does affect your insurance.
Yeah, for sure. Therefore, this high risk, for example, that we're going to focus morely is you are in the area of they called SFHA, means a special flood hazard area.
This is the high risk.
Therefore,
and this is where the extra costs come in if you're in the high risk. But I mean, you're getting that peaceful view, you're getting to look at the ocean whenever it's not raining, that river, you're getting that calming, beautiful view, which is a plus, but it's coming with the high risk zone.
Let us break down this SFH area to something that is digestible. SFHA means that you are in the area that you have a potential of 1% or higher chance of flood each year, just 1%. And what it could be potential that you might risk it is if you're looking at the long term of the 30 years, what's going to happen?
I mean, if 30 years, that would bring your percentages to 25% of having some sort of issue. And what are the 2 main issues that you might have?
Therefore, what is the 2 main issue is?
Isn't it mold and, of course, actual water damage?
Yes, which could be mold and a structural damage.
Right.
That basically you need to take care of it. You need to bring the expert to take care of them for you.
And if you're doing a little bit every year over time, it's really not an end of the deal. So that's making sure your gutters are cleaned out, making sure your water has a place to go. So you're kind of doing your yearly work every year to make sure that you are mitigating this potential catastrophe, because yes, you know you're in a spot where it rains, or so you need to take care of it.
Therefore, a statistic could be decisive. I can just tell you that most of the insurance claims actually was not because of the high risk. 40% of them, there were a place that they had moderate or even minimal zones they were associated with them in the past couple years. Therefore, don't think of, oh, if I'm in the high risk, that is the only thing, which is not. And with saying that, we wanted to talk about that what are the risk of the buying home in the flood area. No?
We are? Okay.
Therefore, basically, we wanted to have talking about listing a couple things that my wife already mentioned it. We are talking about SFHA, which is a special flood hazard area, which basically you have the potential for the flooding, which my wife said mold growth and structural damage.
Absolutely.
Which is depend on the severity of the flood. No?
Right, which means you have to take care of your water when it's here and not just let it to sit.
That means if it happens, you're going to be not in comfort zone, means you need to leave your house for a while till the expert they come and fix your house. And
that's in the catastrophe situation.
Yes.
My husband went right to catastrophe. If you mitigate, and most likely if you are dealing with, the water as it comes and having ways to say my water is going this way and sending it away from the house, you are more protected, and therefore you are never actually going to leave your house. It might happen. I mean, anything can happen. Acts of God are acts of God. But if you take care of things, then they are taken care of.
Therefore, the first one was the significant flood damage that I went to the extreme. The second things, I wanted to talk about high cost of the flood insurance.
There is that.
Therefore, they said in the average in the U.S., we are not talking about North Carolina specifically that we are living, but in average for the U.S., for this SFH area, the high, basically a special flood zone, the people are paying $985 a year.
That's on a national level. It is a little bit more expensive here in North Carolina. I have seen the policy numbers, but it's not, it's going into your mortgage and getting paid monthly. So it's an extra expense it's happening with your mortgage. But again, you're getting that view, you're getting that peace, you're getting that serenity, and everything that you want. And yes, it does come with insurance costs. This is kind of the factor.
And basically what it happens is basically NFIP, which is the Program on National Flood Insurance, those that are a federal program that they underwrites insurance policy. Therefore, for your area or the house you wanted to basically cover, you can use this NFIP, which is $250,000 for the covering your home, plus $100K for the home cost, like if you have a sofa. And if you wanted to more insure your house, you can go to the private insurance to cover more than this $250 and $100K.
Right, and this means they're replacing the drywall, which is kind of the biggest issue, your personal belongings, making sure the water is actually removed so you can actually live in your house if it's been that bad. But again, that's what it is.
The third thing that we wanted to basically itemize is can be sometimes difficult to sell a house in flood zone in SFHA. The reason is everybody, you as a buyer or us as an agent, we're thinking about risk of the investment, because you say that there is a potential that we told you 1% each year, and the high insurance,
yes,
which you need to pay, that many of the loans, they put it as a part of your loan for the monthly payment. And now that we covered these three, we wanted to actually
talk about the loans itself.
Talk about the loans. How you get the mortgage for a house in the flood zone.
Right, so you can go with conventional mortgage or you can go with FHA. They both cover. So just so we're clear on the type of mortgages that go into a flood zone. Again, they are going to require flood insurance. So this is something that you need to know about up front.
Exactly. They could be the FHA, which is backed by the government, or the conventional that my wife said. And the lender is going to roll in to your payment, as we said.
Absolutely. It's going to be it should be part of the escrow, which at least here in North Carolina, which means you're paying that as a regular fee every month.
Therefore, the next thing that we wanted to talk is as a buyer, it may interest you what kind of question you should ask before buying a property in flood area.
Right, so your agent or yourself, you can be looking this up. What is the flood designation area?
Exactly.
And my husband gave you the letters at the beginning, the ABCs and the X and the shaded and the unshaded and the V. So if it is, you know what it is when you're walking into it. If you don't know what it is, you can go to the FEMA database online and Google it, and it's really easy to find. Therefore,
this is where the expertise of your real estate agent comes, because your real estate agent definitely can dig in to find out for you these are high risk, moderate risk, or minimal risk zone is the location of the property.
Right, and your property flood will be, how often does it flood?
And you need to ask, this is the second question.
Right.
How often this property does flood?
And laws vary state to state depending on how much it is.
Exactly.
And if the seller has to disclose it or not disclose it. So you should try to find out as much as history as you can.
Yeah, specifically in North Carolina, the seller and the seller's agent in the listing, they're going to disclose that this property is located in the flood zone.
Right, they have to disclose that.
They have to disclose it.
Which is nice. That means that your agent should be reading about it. But not all states are like that in North Carolina, so it is something that definitely needs to be researched. What happens if their flood does happen? How do we mitigate that and deal with the community?
That was the third question.
I know,
what flood mitigation has become has done in the community? This is a question that also your real estate can dig into the document and research for you and see, for example, the local government and the place that you wanted to purchase, what kind of the step they took and the action they did to mitigate the flood hazard in that area.
Right. So are they managing it? Have they planned for it? Is the sewer system capable of handling it? These are definitely things that you need to consider as well. So I think do we hit everything?
Therefore, this is that you need to see number 4, that is the worst buying the house in the flood zone.
Okay, so I mean, you might be getting a beach. You might be getting your boat launch. You might be getting access to amazing amenities that you will not get in a different place because your setting is super serene, and 99 out of 100 days of the year, you're going to be super fine about it. And it might be 365 days of the year, and it's just, when it rains, you have to do certain things. Take care of your roof. Make sure your roof is good. Make sure your walls are sturdy. Keep up with your work.
And if you have a crawl space, make sure that if the water damage went there, and if you can put a pump, for example, there.
And keep a moisture barrier.
And
make sure that it stays up to date. So the more you keep things up to date, the less you're mitigating that risk. And therefore, your house enjoyment is going to last longer.
Therefore, at the end of the day, we as a real estate agent, we're going to tell you all the things that you're going to face, and we're going to do research for you. But it's up to you to weigh down these pros and cons that, okay, I can enjoy all this amenity. Besides that, I need to pay more insurance and the risk that could be associated over the term of the 30 years of the loan, and see which one is worth more, no?
Right,
and
but
then make a decision.
You don't have to be scared of it either. As long as you are willing to do the work, then there's no reason to be scared about it, because the work means that you're taking care of things as they happen instead of just letting things build up to where it's just catastrophe. So it is also up to you. If you're somebody who can handle things, then it's really not a big deal thing. You just have to make sure you have figured out how to deal with the water. Anyway, we hope this video was useful.
Exactly. We are hoping, me and my wife Victoria, that the information that we provided in this video was useful for you and your family to make a decision on house that you love.
Yes.
And don't forget to call us because we know the area and suburb very well and the market, and we are dedicated to help you. And we are here for you. Please call us.
Absolutely.
And our numbers in the back too.
Or they're right there.
Right there. And have a wonderful day, guys, and talk to you soon. Thank you.